Alright, hey everybody, this is Emehe and welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you 5 tips in order to improve your factories in Satisfactory. So the first tip that I have for you helps make your factories more compact and space efficient. So let's say you have 6 smelters going into 5 constructors. That's when it gets complicated. You're going to need 1 merger for each 3, just like this, and then you're going to need to split each of these like this, so that way you have 3 smelters into 1 splitter, and then you just pipe the splitter. I know it didn't look good, but you go like this. But then the one on the right doesn't have all 3 of its sides being used. So this side of the factory gets fully used, and this side doesn't. And when you get into bigger factories, it can be very complex, and there's a much simpler way to do it. Although this method isn't fully optimal, it doesn't get all of the resources to where they need to go immediately. You have to wait for the machine to fill up, and then it will work perfectly. So you start by adding in mergers along a line like this. So we're going to start with one on the end with the output pointing this way towards the rest of our machines. Then we're going to place one on the next one as well, but this time with the output facing the other merger. So like this. Same with this one, and this one. Then you can hook them up. So now all of these smelters are coming through right to here. And then I can actually move these closer. Then what you do is you take, let's say we have 9 of these, or let's say we have 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, or actually we'll do 5. Same number we did before, 5, just like that. Then what you can do is you can take splitters and you can put one right. You need to line it up with this, so it would need to go like there. I think that's minimum. No, it needs to go 1 more tile forward. There. Then connect that up, and then you place more splitters along every single one with the input facing the last splitter that you place down. So that way what you can do is all of your smelted items, let's say iron, is coming through here, going into this splitter, and then it's going into this one, then into this one, then into this one, into this one, and then finally into this one. So this method isn't nearly as efficient as the other one, because it will be after some time, but the thing is this one might not get enough iron because the majority of the iron is going to the first one. But when the first one fills up with 99 iron, then the next one will fill up, and then the next one, and then the next one, and then once they're all full, then it will be just as efficient as the last method. But it takes some time, but it is much more compact, and it can go on infinitely. You can have 400 smelters and 100 constructors, and this method will still work. So that's tip number 1, is to put your mergers and splitters in a line like this. It's much easier and much better, in my opinion. Now on to tip number 2. Now the second tip that I have for you only works if you're on PC. If you're on Xbox, or I think it's on PlayStation. If you're on PlayStation, it won't work, but it will work if you're on PC. And that tip is mods. I think there are a few mods that help with your factory much more than other ones, and I would like to show you 3 mods that are extremely useful. Starting off is Infinite Zoop, which is this first one right here. This mod, it used to be called Smart, but it's not updated, or it's been discontinued or whatever. But what this mod allows you to do is when you press R, you can change your build mode, and you can change it to Zoop, and that will allow you to click once and then drag infinitely forward. You can't do this if you're in survival. You'll have to have that many resources in your inventory, but it allows you to build really big platforms really quickly. Give it some time. There we go. So that way you don't have to manually place in every single one, which can be very time consuming. Now you don't have to, so it's much easier. The next mod is called Daisy Chain. It's right here. Daisy Chain, which is an amazing mod. I don't think I could play the game without this mod. What this mod allows you to do is it makes it so that you don't need near as many power poles as you used to. Now all you need is 1 power pole, or even 0. So you take this power pole and you connect it to your power source, and then you connect it to one of these, and then you connect this one to the next one, this one to the next, this one to the next, this one to the next, and so on all the way to here. Instead of having to connect each building to the power pole, now you can connect the buildings to each other. They each only have 1 slot, but it's still super useful. So now it's much more clean. You don't have wires hanging everywhere, so it looks a lot nicer, and it's easier to keep track of. And then the final mod, if you want to use this mod, is All Nodes Pure. or mirrored buildings. Mirrored buildings is also super nice. It allows you just to flip-flop buildings around. But all nodes pure is one that I use that I absolutely love. If I go ahead and find a node somewhere right here, here we go. As you can see, it's pure. And this one over here, you can probably imagine what the mod does. It makes all the nodes pure. And if you've played this game, you know that it's very annoying when you find a perfect spot to build a factory and the node is impure, or the node is normal and you need a pure node. This does take away from, you know, a pretty core mechanic of the game, but it is quite nice to just be able to use any node in the game and get max output from it. It's very nice. But those are my top 3 mods to help improve your factories. In order, maybe. Yeah, in order. That's the order that I would use them probably. But with that said, let's move on to the third. And the third tip isn't a mod, it's actually a website. This website is called Satisfactory Tools. I will leave a link to it down in the description, maybe, if I remember. But this website is absolutely amazing. It has a calculator tool to where you can give it any item in the game. Per se, iron plates. You can select how many of them you want a minute, so 250, and then it tells you exactly what you need. If you go over to buildings, it shows you how many buildings. If you do visualization, it shows you need 375 iron ore per minute, so you're gonna need like 3 nodes. You'll need 12.5 smelters, smelting your iron ore into iron ingots, and you need those going into 12.5 iron plates. This website is super useful because it really helps you stay on track when building stuff, and it's not really useful for stuff like iron plates. It's more useful when you're making a factory for stuff like versatile framework or more complex items like this. See, you're gonna need 6,000 coal a minute, holy, and 9,000 iron for 250 of them. Tone that down to something more reasonable, like 50. There we go. 1,200 coal a minute, going into 26 foundries, 20 ingots, going into 17.5 constructors, and another 11.25 constructors, splitting into constructors, assemblers, 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 with another pair of constructors. A lot of stuff that's very complicated, you no longer have to do in your head. Now this website will do it for you. And it's like I said, it's very useful, and it shows you how much power it'll take, 2,000 megawatts, and it shows you all the items that it will produce / need. It'll need this many coal and iron per minute. It'll make this many iron ingots, this many modular frames. Super nice. And it shows you how many buildings. You can also change certain recipes, like alternative recipes. But that was my third tip. Now let's move on to my fourth. My fourth tip is to try and build up, not out. So a lot of times, like in that website that I just showed you, when you're building stuff that's really fancy, a lot of times it'll take like 60 constructors, and you'll want to put those all in a row. Do like 8 constructors, well, do an even number. If you have to do 20 constructors, do like 10. Is this 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll pretend that this is 10, and then build up, and then build 10 more constructors in the exact same spots, just like this, because you have infinite space going up and down, but up, not down, but you have infinite space up. Even though you have a lot, you do not have infinite space going, left, right, straight, and back. You can fill up very quickly, especially if you need a row of like 40 constructors. Do like 10, 20, 30, 40. Go up. It can be harder to build factories going up and down, but it is much nicer once you save on the space. Plus the factories look cooler if they're tall. If you have a really fat factory, it's not as cool as if you have a really tall one. But now on to my fifth and final tip for Satisfactory is to automate stuff as quickly as you can, but scale over time. What I mean is, when you start off the game, it can be very overwhelming. Don't just immediately go and make a factory for iron plates. Instead, make the start of a factory for iron plates, but only build the iron ingots part of it. You know what I mean? And then after a little while, once you've got that laid out, then add on to it and build the iron plates. Then add on to it and add on storage. Do the same for iron rods, and this can help you a lot later on, because it can help you like do bigger factories in parts instead of feeling like you have to do it all immediately, because a lot of factories can be very big in this game. It can take a lot of time, and if you do it all at once, you might get what's the word? You might get like winded, I guess. You might lose motivation. There you go. And you don't want that to happen. So just do it in parts. It's much easier if you do it in segments instead of just doing it all at once. But that is going to have to conclude this video of my top 5 Satisfactory tips to help improve your factories, both space-wise and efficiency-wise. With that said, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Have an amazing rest of your day. I will see you in the next one. Thank you, and goodbye.